Planning Commission meeting to order, please. Would you please rise and recite the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mark, would you please rise? Raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Michigan, the City Charter and Code of Ordinances of the City of Cedar Springs, that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Planning Commission member to the best of my abilities.
I will. I do, or whatever.
As this is your annual reorganizational meeting, I will open the floor for position of chairperson.
Right.
Is there a second to the nomination? Are there any other nominations? All those in favor of Craig as chairperson, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say aye. Motion carries. Craig, would you please stand? I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Michigan, the City Charter and Code of Ordinances of the City of Cedar Springs, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Planning Commission chairperson to the best of my abilities.
I will.
Yeah. And I will turn the meeting over to you.
Okay, we'll open the floor for nominations for vice chair.
I nominate Lisa Eck.
One second. Any other nominations? We have a motion support for Lisa. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
Lisa, would you please rise?
You're right.
I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Michigan, the City Charter, and Code of Ordinances of the City of Cedar Springs, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Planning Commission Vice Chairperson to the best of my abilities.
Thank you. Okay, so let's roll call. Ms. Atchison?
Here.
Mr. Bray?
Here.
Mrs. Grimmer?
Here.
Mr. Conley?
Here.
Ms. Foster and Mr. Hall are excused this evening. Mr. Hopkins?
Here.
Mr. Laws? Mr. Owens is here. Carmen Aventini? Thank you for sloshing through the stuff to get here tonight. Okay, so our minutes from our January meeting, we need a motion to approve those.
The motion we approve the minutes.
Second.
Any questions or concerns on those? Okay, all in favor of approving those minutes, aye?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. All right, need to approve our agenda, and we had an item that came, I think you saw it in your email, clarification from the City Council. So, but if somebody makes a motion, we could include that under item B in our old business.
Make that motion.
Okay. Support for that?
I'll support it.
Okay. Anything else that anybody sees on that on our agenda tonight? Okay. All in favor of approving that, aye?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Okay, we'd like to open the floor for public comments. Anybody that would like to share some thoughts with us, please step up to the podium. Don't rush the podium all at the same time. All right, seeing none. We do not have any public hearings scheduled for this evening, so we'll move to new business. And first item is our preliminary site plan review for Green Acres. And so, Mr. Aventini, we'll turn that over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Very briefly, because this is a preliminary review, and it was an opportunity for the applicant to come before you and present their project. And there was a review letter. It was more for their use than it was the Planning Commission's, but it stated January 18th. And there were just two items, I think, that need to be included in the discussion. One was Holton Drive. I think it's their understanding that it is a drive and not a road or a private road or a public road, which does change things a little bit in terms of setbacks. The second one is that they are requesting, we have a maximum amount of parking that's allowed under the ordinance, and they're requesting more than that. What you usually find with senior facilities is they're all a little bit different depending on what kind of facility it is. So I think it's a good opportunity at this point in time for them to explain why they need more parking than you might need based on the ordinance requirements. But other than that, it's just pretty much a description of the different things they'll need to provide when they come in for final site plan approval. So unless you have questions, I'll just turn it over to them and let them make their presentation.
Okay. Anybody questions for Ken? Thank you.
It's up. Can they hear us now? Or should we get called?
I think so.
Hear me? I can point over here.
Okay.
My name is Dennis Johnson. I represent Johnson Newhoff. We're an architectural firm in Grand Rapids. Tonight I'm representing Moss Development and Retirement Living Management, the Moss family. I've been working with the family since the early 80s, so if you do the math, I don't want to do the math, but see, I've been around a long time. And this guy right here, when he was probably about 8, working in the kitchen of his dad, father's over the age, so in Lowell. So I've been hanging around with these people for a long time, and we've been developing, or actually I call it Gen 2, we've been developing facilities throughout 19 communities under the second generation. The father, Arlen Moss, did several communities, and in the county, what we did, we had 14 communities for his dad. I'm at 19 with his Gen 2. We surround Cedar Springs with the facilities that we have and the communities that we're in. We're as close as Greenville. Been there for 14, 15 years. First phase. Completed 3 phases. We're building another facility in Lowell, 3rd phase in Lowell. So, been successful, blessed, very blessed. We're proposing in Cedar Springs to build 32 units. You can see the U-shaped building on the left. That's 20 units of assisted living, licensed with the state under the dog foster care rules and regs. It's fully licensed. We have to deal with the state fire marshal. It's fully sprinkled. They have controls on operations or whatever. Connected to that is a model that we started 25 years ago for, we call it specialized Alzheimer's dementia wing. And you can see the footprint and the floor plan of that is an entirely different plan than the U-shaped plan. That building is specifically designed for wanderers, Alzheimer's. It's not a long corridor. It's a U-shaped racetrack. So they're different. They're 2 different footprints. We marry them together. Our architectural style that you see down here is residential, not a commercial look. It's a home-like environment. So this is, you can see that we've been active in the community. We've been tearing down houses and grading the site to get ready for this project. As he said, Planner said that we're through most of the engineering. When we came into Cedar Springs a few months ago, we had met with Thad, and actually he helped us find the site back then, and we thought it was best to maybe come in and do a little bit of an intro to the rest of you, because we kind of lost our connection of who we started with. So we're here, we're not complete. We're close. We're excited. We got excited when we tore the house down and said, boy, this is starting to look better than this. You all know the house. So you can see that, the thing is with Gen 2, what I call Gen 2 is, and there was an evolution from his dad's era to Gen 2 era, 15 years ago, is that you don't tuck seniors back in the woods and forget them. That was the nursing home mentality, is you build this block building, you build it as cheap as you can, flat roof, no frills, commercial looking building. The whole architecture set on the distance from the nursing station. And that's what you would stick seniors in, double occupancy rooms, shared bathrooms, and that model is dead. It's still there because if you can't afford, there's still those buildings. A lot of the buildings are being converted into rehab for the hospitals. So those are winding up. People want respect. They want to live in a home environment. They would like to have a private room. They would like to have a private bath. So back in the early 80s, we would design assisted living. Ireland was one of the first in this area to do that. And our buildings were 7,500 square feet. Everybody there was. That size, they were private rooms. Small, but private rooms. And some were shared baths, but most of them were private baths. Today, under Gen 2, this model, just for 20 units now, just the U-shaped building, is 17,000 square feet. So you say, well, how did you get so big? Well, it's like anything. Houses today are bigger than houses 30 years ago. People expect more amenities. So the activity rooms, the barber shop, the beauty salon, the bathing area, the walkways, we have these large corridors. If you see some photographs, we have brochures that we give and show you. You see that there's a lot of design in our type of product. And that's what has made, the Moss family successful, in providing assisted living care in small communities. We say we're in the big metropolis, even though we're in Grand Rapids. We like to work in the perimeter, in the smaller towns, be part of the community. These are buildings and a business that will become part of the community. It's not a big conglomerate, big publicly held company that's come in to do this. This is a family business. It's the second generation of the family business that's coming into your market. So, like I said, we're licensed to this facility, caring for seniors, providing respectful living environments for them, the private rooms and private rooms. Part of the team here today is, because I should have done the intro first, is Doug Moss, who's the owner of Gen 2, Retirement Living Management. He is a partner, his brother-in-law, family. So they are the operators and developers of this product in Cedar Springs, Greenville, and Grand. Pete Bergsma is our civil engineer from Land Resources out of Grand Rapids. My son, who's an architect, so you can see there's family connection. Next generation, Gen 2 of my firm, is sitting here trying to be quiet so I don't pick on him. So you can see that we're a family business. We've been together for a long time, so we're excited about being here. That's kind of my spiel today. So if there's any questions from any of you, we're all here to answer that.
Well, would you like to address what Carmen brought up about parking?
Yeah, I was going to do that when you said it, and I forgot. I got to tell you, it was a car accident coming here today. I went through Rockford.
Yeah.
You can imagine Rockford when it's raining. I did what I was supposed to. I slowed down for a police officer, and bam, I get hit back. I get rear-ended myself. Her foot fell off. He said it slipped off the brake, and of course I get the accident. So now we're two accidents together. And I'm thinking, now I'm going to be late for my meeting. So anyway, sorry to get sidetracked. The reason we're green, obviously we're very sensitive. We understand parking. We understand the cost of a parking lot and the maintenance of a parking lot. So we don't want to pave any more than we have. So the thing is that the ordinances don't, they're antiquated. Everyone's ordinance, we always come in and talk it through. and say, we know that when we peak out is at event time. You know, we have summer events, we have holidays. That's when our parking is peak. The rest of the time, you know, it's not. You know, we have some employees, you know, I've spelled out parking ratios, you know, requirements in here. But if we get to peak and we don't have what we feel is a 1-to-1 ratio, 1 unit to 1 car, 1 family member, what's going to happen is people are going to want to park somewhere. And somewhere is someone else's property. And nobody wants that. The road isn't public. The road is an access road. So we know this from experience that this is for peak time. So sometimes we bank some parking, make it green, but we don't want to overpark either, but we don't want to keep our family members from visiting, you know, at event time and stuff. So that's why we ask for more, you know, ask for a little bit more parking.
So, does your property include Fulton Drive, do you own it?
No, that's the school.
So the school.
School owns it. We approached the school board a few months ago to see if we could, if we could buy that, kind of that wedge between the property line and Holton, so that we could, you know, Doug wanted to maintain it. He wants to irrigate it and mow it and make it look nice. And the board met, they liked the project. They just said, we have to think out 100 years. You know, we don't really want to sell the property. But with that, we'll let you maintain it. And that's fine, because Doug's intent is, you know, I don't want it weedy and ratty. I want it to look nice and be part of the lawn of the facilities. So they've agreed that they would, you know, that we could, you know, work with them on landscaping and stuff like that.
So you said that you agree. Does that mean that the pavement, the water goes through, or is it just regular pavement?
Well, the pavement for our parking lots, are they, it's asphalt. Yeah, I know I have a hard time, it's always a reverse of it, but you know, it's impervious, meaning it's asphalt. It's going to be drained into, of course, you can see that we've got some detention areas and stuff on the site. And that's not to say that we can't do pervious type material, which are very costly, but we don't think that, if you look at the site, I mean, it's, you know, we don't think it's overpaid on the thing, so.
Yeah, we've had tests of the site too, soil bores, and the soils are mostly clay, so we aren't going to get any seepage into the groundwater too.
Soils aren't mixed fertilization and stuff.
So to do a pervious type pavement would not work in.
Correct.
But, you know, when Doug is done, I mean, he's very attuned to landscaping. And I mean, this is something, you know, everyone asks, well, he's a senior project. You know, is it going to be maintained? Well, you know, it's marketed constantly. I mean, it's got to look good. I mean, he knows that he's cutting the grass on Friday because the family members are coming on Saturday. I mean, this is something that the family understands how to maintain it, have it look good. So we're good neighbors. We like the site. You know, everybody says, well, why do you want to be where you are? And I said, you know, the woods don't work. Our most popular rooms are the ones that face the parking. Seniors want to see things going on. Families want to come to, they don't want to go down the street with the kids, with the grandkids, and all there is grandma. Grandpas don't last as long as grandpas. So grandma's there, and there's nothing else to do. They want to be where the action is. You know, so the family can go and take mom out to eat. You know, mom is in shape, go to Myers or go to the store or something like that. So if you're not in the mix, you're not going to do that. So that's why Gen 2 likes these kinds of sites. So they want to be where everybody else wants to be. And that's proven to be very successful for Doug on sites like that. I I can answer.
It's all right.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
On the plans that we originally got, there were those 3 extra parking spaces that were referenced in this, the document Carmen saying, but I don't see them there. So have you erased those?
Yeah. Well, I think wasn't there a problem with the,
Well, that was, yeah, we took those off as a result of the comment that came through from Carmen, so.
Okay.
The sidewalk, is that the path that goes all the way to middle school?
yes.
So that path crosses Holton Drive and goes on down.
That's right.
So why would we need sidewalks? Is that, am I understanding that right? It says here, the planning commission will have to determine whether or not a sidewalk is needed.
Along Holden Drive.
Oh, going up that way?
Yeah. The school doesn't want that. I mean, isn't that part of our, they don't see main streets down there. Open drive.
No.
Sidewalk.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that was discussed, that, we talked about doing a sidewalk, and they felt there was a better access for the kids. They didn't necessarily want the kids walking down Holden Drive.
Because that's, well, the buses are stacking and stuff, they didn't feel that was good, so then, because we were trying to do with the average, you know, I said, well, maybe a sidewalk would be a nice edge and then mow up to it. And they said they didn't really want that connection, that pedestrian connection.
Any other questions for Dennis?
What's that?
Thank you.
Great, thank you, nice meeting you.
Appreciate your time. All right. Next up is our preliminary site plan review for the brook. So again, Carmen, if you walk us through.
Well, Mr. Chairman, the only thing that I received was a kind of a sketch drawing of what they're thinking of doing. I didn't receive any kind of a description, so I think for tonight it's just, I think they're just going to present their information. But I really didn't have enough to review it at this point. The only question would be, I did look at the 425 agreement that deals with the zoning, and I think it looks like this piece of property, I don't know who's representing it, but it, oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I couldn't tell if the property, because if you look at the 425 map, there's a portion of it that is indicated as zone general commercial right up at the corner for Solon Township, but then right next to it is residential, rural residential. I think this property falls under the rural residential, and I don't know if anyone can answer that. Okay. If that's the case, they would have to, because the 425 agreement says it would have to be rezoned to whatever the appropriate zoning designation is. It stays that way until, you know, if it were general commercial, we could keep it that way under the city ordinance. But if it's different than they need, which it probably would be, if it's different than they need under the ordinance, then it would have to be rezoned. So that's just something we'll have to take a look at.
Do you want me to present?
Yes,
My
please.
presentation? Hi, everybody. My name is Diane Frederickson, and I'm actually owner of Brook Retirement Communities. I share that with my 2 partners, Jim Dewis, who is a builder, and Bill Curry, who's an attorney. We are looking at this piece of property. My engineer is going to be here tonight, but based on what's going on outside, he called and said, I can't get there. But so technical questions, we can try to get answers for you and get back with you. Now, my understanding is that you each got a copy of the blueprint, and you have that. The question tonight, I wanted to do some general information about our project and about what the brook is and what we do. And also the question at hand is tying into the sewer and the water. And they asked me to, and Tom, they've been working with Tom, and I thought he was going to be here tonight, but so I'm at a disadvantage there too. I don't know if he did any communications to any of you about that. But we'd like to tie into the existing water and sewer source And that is coming off a piece of private land that we have actually spoken with the owner and have an agreement that enables us to do that. So we would need permission from the Planning Commission to be able to tie into that existing water and sewer there. So should we start with the general presentation, and then you can think about your questions, and I'll do my best. Kim Pappas is my marketing director, and she will guide you through who we are and what we've done. I'll give a presentation also if you like to follow along. Do you mind if I present from over here? It'll just be easier. I'll forecast my voice. I have a short cord here with my computer, so. Little technical difficulty. Forgive me, please. I'm going to give that just a few minutes here to warm up. As Diane mentioned, we are the Brook Retirement Community. We are 10 facilities strong right now. We began in 2002 with one of our owners that had family need. They had family need that felt that they needed to have support with assisted and independent living in the senior market, and they built it in Roscommon, Michigan. 42 units, which we have a blueprint over there. I apologize, it's not up here, but our typical size is 20 units of independent living and 22 units of assisted living. We offer right through end-of-life care and typically have a registered nurse or LPN on staff as a manager. We also have some photos over there of our completed projects. Our most recent completed project will be opening March 1st in Newaygo, Michigan. Our locations are in Sheboygan, Michigan, Boyne City, Gaylord, Grayling, Houghton Lake, West Branch, Roscommon, Gladwin, Newaygo, Big Rapids, and we're hoping soon in Cedar Springs. Our project would begin and be completed by January of 2017. Our intent in 2017 of January would be to have a 42-unit facility, which would be, again, 20 units of independent living and 22 units of assisted living. Our goal is to provide an additional option in senior living. We hire local people. We spend money locally. We are very supportive with community involvement, and we increase the tax base. That's our intent as well. And we also have very beautiful buildings, which I do have enclosed some of the photos in your packet, but you can also go out to our website at brookretirement.com. We have a virtual tour that I was hoping to show you tonight, as well as we also have beautiful landscaping and also hope to improve the aesthetics of the neighborhood. Ryan mentioned, First South is our Chief Executive Officer, Bill Carey and Jim DeWitt. We've had the experience since 2002 with our locations, as I mentioned earlier. And our mission is to provide a retirement community that's focused on assisting residents in achieving the highest levels of independence possible in an atmosphere of caring and promoting quality of life, not to mention making fun being a part of each and every day. Let's see if I can go on virtual tour. I apologize, I'm just not able to hook up into here. Here we go. Try this again. Technology is wonderful and it works. I'm going to do this just for the interim. So I'm in a foyer. Get a little bit like Vanna White here. Main dining room. We serve 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But what's great about the Brook, we have the option in every one of our independent facilities. We have the ability to have a full kitchen, and they can prepare their own meals if they so desire. So really trying to promote independence. We also have a private dining room at all of our locations for those special events and activities. Somebody has a birthday party. We have spacious sitting areas on each end of our facility. We have 5 large living areas in addition to each independent and assisted living facility. Every one of our units of the 42 have their own restrooms, bathrooms. All of our units are sprinklered. Nice large theater area. Holds 26 people. We have a lot of activities and events at the facility that include our families. We have a nice large billiard room. I apologize to the audience for showing my back. I apologize. Library and computer area. 24-hour staff. We also have clinical support staff as well. In-house beauty salon. A lot of those ladies and gentlemen would rather have everything done on site rather than having to go out in this type of weather. We have long hallways to promote walking inside and exercise and not have to worry about inclement weather. We have independent 1 and 2 bedroom living areas, and our assistants are studios and 1 bedrooms as well. We have our residents bring in their own furniture so they can personalize their own space. A lot of our residents are coming from a large home that they had lived in for 50 or 60 years, so they're having to downsize. So we have garages available for those that are also still driving or still want to have space available to them for storage. We work very closely with many of our veterans and veteran surviving spouses. There are 8 attendant benefits out there available for spouses of veterans as well as veterans themselves. They can help defray the cost of them living at the Brook. We are pet friendly, as you can see with the dog. Outdoor spaces, all of our locations have a nice large porch area. Front entryway that is covered. We do offer transportation to events and activities. Large garden areas. We have some ladies with some green thumbs there. Grand patio for a lot of our events. beautiful sunset at every brook, promise, 365 days a year. You need to come to the brook. Yeah, I went there almost 3 miles. Yeah. This is not Photoshop, this is actually one of our facilities. And that's typically what our facilities look like. We do also offer memory care. I apologize for that. We've included, as I mentioned, photos of the interior of many of our facilities. We have a lot of common area for the residents. We offer the full-service dining experience. We want our residents to enjoy their meals just as they would if they were going out to a full-service restaurant. We have a fireplace at every location. I mentioned also the craft room. We also at every location, we want the residents of Cedar Springs to be feeling like they still live at home. We want to make sure that those valuable people that have, the teachers, the doctors that have lived and worked in Cedar Springs for all of their lives and are retiring, we want to make sure that they have a viable option in living at their home and feel safe in an environment such as the Brook Retirement Community. Our cost is very affordable. As I mentioned earlier, with working with the Veterans Administration, we do have some residents that live at the facility for less than $500 a month, which is a very good benefit for them. And we also have, we also work with the My Choice Waiver Program as well for those that might have an issue, might have funding issues, and they're not able to pay for a nursing home type of an environment. If their funds are low, we also have that program available as well. What we look like as an employer, the Brook, we will bring people and putting people to work in your community. We have probably about 20 positions in the facility. We will have 2 cooks, kitchen helpers, support staff, certified nursing assistants, maintenance, as well as housekeepers and administrative support. So we're looking to bring jobs to your community as well. And we try as much as we can to buy from local merchants, whether it be groceries or hardware, all of those types of things, and those amenities we want to buy local as often as we can. Snow plowing, lawn care, this type of weather, salting our parking lots, all of that. We keep it as local again as possible. I want to thank everyone for allowing us to make the presentation today. If you have any questions.
I wanted to talk a little bit about the affordability too before we took questions. I think that's really, really important, and that's one of the things that when I first started the whole Brook concept, there were so many people in our community that were very viable people, and but obviously cost is always a factor. So we've tried to structure our facility to be as affordable as possible, and that's, Kim mentioned a couple of the different programs that we participate in that offer even more affordability based on the services there. But independent living, you're looking at $14.98, and that includes all of their, for a 1-bedroom independent apartment, that includes all their heat, all their lights. So all the utilities except for their telephone and cable TV, which are, I let them do their own thing with the telephone because there's so many plans out there. But, they get cable TV for about $39 a month. So, no property taxes, no maintenance fees. So that becomes a viable option for a lot of folks. 2-bedroom apartments that are 900 square foot, you're talking $18.98 for those a month. And when you're talking assisted living, we don't have a tiered system. It's pretty all-inclusive, and anywhere between $24.98 and $28.98, based on the size of the room. That's really the only difference, is what the cost is for assisted living. So it's pretty affordable. I know that's a lot of money, but it is pretty affordable in that particular arena. So I think that's really important for the folks in this area as well. Gives them another option. I will do as much as I can with a couple questions. I can answer any questions about operations. That will be easy for me.
I do have a question.
Sure.
Like with, you guys have a program, I'm sure I asked the other one that too, where you, like if you're more on the outskirts of town, do you have programs where you can bring them into town?
We have a van. Everybody will have their, our sites have their own van. And so we bring them into town at least once a week, usually more. So that's really quite nice. If there's activities on site, at least 3 activities every single day that they can choose to participate in or not. We don't pressure them, but usually we have pretty good participation. And then we bring them, like I know right away, Myers is going to be a real spot that they're going to want to come and shop and that sort of thing. But we have our own van, so we take them.
Right. I know for like the shopping and then from some of the events, you know, any of them that can still hear and they start hearing noise from events going on, they want to be able to check things out too.
Yeah, we do a lot of fun things in the summertime. A lot of the communities that we're in have wonderful festivals and music and that kind of thing, and that goes over really well. So we love to be able to take them to those kinds of things. We do football games in the fall. They like things too. So kind of fun. Anything else?
We did include a packet, in your packet, there's also a sample of our activities, as well as our menus, so.
Based on this diagram here, this is a 10-acre site, right?
Yes, it is.
Do you happen to know how big the site is next to it? That's still open? Is that also 10?
I believe it is.
Okay, I was just trying to get an idea how far from
Yeah.
White Creek this is.
The parcel next to ours, is that also a 10-acre? The one we're not.
Parcel right to the west.
Yeah.
Actually, the remaining parcel is 30 acres. The square 40. And they're buying the northeast 10 acres. 660.
Okay, so it's 440.
40.
You were saying that that is a possible zone residential there?
I'm not really sure. It all is based upon the current zoning in Southern Township. That's what the 425 is.
It's highway business.
It is highway
It is highway, it is business?
Yeah, also, to answer Diane's question on that sewer line,
Yeah.
Tom had already checked with the city engineer, and they had okayed, they had said a 20-foot easement, but Jim wanted a 30,
Okay.
so we went a little wider, so they had more room to go deeper. So that was already run by the city engineer.
Do we need a vote here, though? No? Okay. Okay, I wasn't aware if we did or not. Good. Yeah. Okay, good. Excellent. Any other questions? All right. That's great. Thank you so much.